from the two dots on Daf Dalet on the base, two words on the bottom. We learned in the Mishnah you're allowed to be misakin, to fix a cistern of water in Rishus Harabim. Says the Gemara, Chatita and Chafir Eloi. It's mashma from the Mishnah that you're allowed to fix it. So Chatita, you're allowed to clear out the cistern of water, but Chafir Eloi, to dig it from the beginning, you can't, because you can only fix it. Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yochanan, Lo Yishan Ol Shen Rabban Tzrich. That's only if the rabbin doesn't need it. Aval Rabban Tzrich afilu chafira mutar. But if the rabbin doesn't need it, aval Rabban Tzrich, if the rabbin doesn't need it, afilu chafira mutar. The Mishnah was only talking about the rabbin didn't need it. So then you're allowed to even be chatitin. But if the rabbin needs it, you could even dig out a new one. Mutar. Frekti Gemara v'chi Rabban Tzrich mishari. When the rabbin means like the people, the congregation, the people in the city. When they need it, mishari, are you allowed to dig a new one? Guys, it's going to be a little bit mathematical, a little bit of a cheshbon here. So try to keep with me here. But how, again, we're trying to know could you do a chafira? Could you dig a new cistern, a new place where people are going to drink? Are you allowed to dig it new on Yontif if the people need it? That Rabbi Yochanan said you're allowed. But Tanya, is that true? Tanya, we learned in a brayso. You're allowed to clear out a bar, different bairos, a pit, shichin umarais, also those type of things. Marais, a cave, shel yachid of a yachid. You don't have to tell me you're allowed to be chayt and clean it out of a rabbin. It's for a rabbin. But you're not allowed to be chayfer a new one for a rabbin. You don't have to tell me that for a yachid you're not allowed to dig a new one. So says the Gemara, my love, isn't it true that this price is talking about the rabbin needs it, and still we're saying that you can't dig a chafira? And for the Gemara answers loy b'shein rabbin tzrichlem. It's talking about the rabbin doesn't need it, and that's why you can't dig a chafira, a new cistern, or a new barish shichin amaris for a rabbin. Frek the Gemara. Wait a second. B'shein rabbin tzrichlem, and that's why you can't dig a new one for rabbin. Frek the Gemara dekavasa gabi yachid. But if you're saying you don't need it, that means the case of a yachid is the same. She'ein yachid tzarchlem, that the brisa is talking about the yachid doesn't need it. Chatita mishari. So is chatita mutter. The Gemara is going to bounce back and forth between chatita. Get those words correctly. Chatita means to clean out an existing one, which is not as big of a deal as chafira, digging out a new one. So the brisa had said that you're allowed to be chaytit, you're allowed to clean out for a yachid and for sure for a rabbin, but you're not allowed to dig you're allowed to do chatita, clean out for both of them. You're not allowed to dig for either of them. So for the Gemara, if you're talking about that you don't need it, that means the yachid doesn't need it, then chatita is chatita mutar. We learned in a second brayso about Tanya. If you have a bar, different pits of a yachid, you're allowed to bring water into them. But you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to clean it out. And plaster the cracks in it. So it says straight out that when you're dealing with a yachid, you're not allowed to be chaytit. Because you don't need it. If you don't need it. So what are you going to tell me? That our brisa, when it says that a yachid is allowed, our first brisa, when it says the yachid is allowed to clean it out, that's talking about when he needs it. But rabim, then that means that the case of the rabbin, when it says he can't do a chafira, is talking about kisharabim trichalem. I'm sorry. So the Gemara says elamai. It's talking about when the rabbin needs it. But if that's true, chafira miyasar. How could the first brisa you're trying to ask me on Rabbi Yochanan that said that you're allowed to do a chafira for the rabbin when they need it, and the first brisa seems to say that it's asur? How could you tell me it's asur? But Tanya, we learned in a third brisa, that barishichan maris of a yachid kain samayim asaychan, you're allowed to bring water into v'chayt naisai, and you're allowed to be chaytit. Avaloi shafen esetem, you're not allowed to plaster the cracks. V'loi chaytin l'saychan, and you're not allowed to clear it out. V'loi sudden naisai b'sid, you can't sudden. You can't like line it with sid, with lime. The show rabim, but if it's a rabim, you're allowed to dig it. The sudden you're allowed to line it with lime. So you see in the third brisa that straight out, chayfrin is mutter. Chayfrin is going to be mutter when you need it. So therefore, the first brisa, which is unclear what it's talking about, how could you tell me when the rabbim needs it, you can't do chafir? The second brisa says straight out, chafir is mutter at some point. So obviously it's talking about at least when they need it. Elakacha chamaisa. So the first brisa not only is not a question, Rabbi Yochanan, but we don't understand it. Answers Gemara, tritzachi. How could the brisa say that you can't do chafira? Tritzachi, we have to reword the first brisa to read as follows. We're assuming at this point that the first brisa is either talking about all when they need it or all when they don't need it, and therefore we have a problem. Shel yachid, shel rabim. Now the Gemara is going to like break it up a little. The Gemara is going to say, you're allowed to clean out the virus of a yachid when they need it. Of course, a rabbim also when the rabbim need it. That in such a case, even chafir is mutter, like the other brises. But you can't dig a new one of the rabbim when they don't need it, when the rabbim doesn't need it. And of course, when a yachid doesn't need it, you can't do that. When a yachid doesn't need it, even chatit is nami yasser. Even chatit is asser. Very good. So therefore, chafir is mutter, chatit is asser. Chafir is mutter when the rabbim needs it. Chatit is asser when the yachid doesn't need it. Amar Rav Ashi, Masisa Namidika, Deka, the Mishnah, our Mishnah sounds like that, the Katani, like it says, Oisin kol tzarchei rabim, it says you're allowed to do all the needs of the community. Kol, what does it mean? Kol, lasuye, what does it come to include? All. My lav lasuye chafira, doesn't include chafira. And that would be a right to what we're saying. Says Gemara, no, that's not necessarily true. You don't really have a raya. Loy lasuye, you could include that you're allowed to do other needs of the community. What's the needs of the community? Titania, yoitzin l'kavitz sadrachim. You're allowed to send out, we send out on Chol Moed, shluchei bezdin, to clean out the thorns. What does Rashi say? Lifnais kaishin shabdrachim, to clean the thorns from the roads. L'sakin or sochayis, to fix the roads that people could travel. Vestatartois, and the market streets of the marketplace. V'lomedes hamakvois, and to measure the mikvahs, the whole mikvah shein bar boim saw. If a mikvah doesn't have 40 saw, margilin l'seichar boim saw. You make sure you get into it. Margilin, you get it in. Rugel means you get used to, but you bring in the water. Boim saw. Uminayin, how do we know shem lo yatsu? That if they don't go out, va'asu kolela, and do all these things, the shulchei bezdin, shekol damim shenishbchu sham, that anyone that gets killed, let's say someone's being chased by a bandit, and the roads aren't clean, or they're broken, and now you can't run away from him, and they get killed. How do we know shekol dam shenishbchu sham, that if anyone was killed there in the streets, mala aleim akasav giluim shavchum, we consider like they, the shulchei bezdin killed them. Tamalemar, like it says in the pasuk, the dam is going to be on you. So therefore, maybe when it says in the Mishnah, kol, you could do all the needs of the rabbim, it's not coming to include chafir, it's coming to include this case of the shulchei bezdin. Correctly, Mara, that can't be true. That says straight out in the Mishnah. You have to fix the roads and the paths, the roads, the streets, and the mikvahs. You do all the needs of the rabbim, right? So therefore, I'm sorry, you do all the tzarchei rabbim. I'm sorry. So it reads like this: so therefore, what does kol come to include in the Mishnah? My lav lasuya chafira doesn't include that you're allowed to dig burrows for the people. Shmamina, it's a raya. If we're up to the 2 dots, let's try to finish up so that we could do the next number tomorrow. We learned that you have to put a mark on the by the grave, so that people that are carrying truma will know that they shouldn't go near the grave to become tamei. Amar Rab Shimon ben Pazi. Rab Shimon ben Pazi said, "Remez l'tziyin kfaros v'natar minayin." Where do we see a hint that you're supposed to put a marker on the grave in the Torah? Talmud Leimer, like it says in the pasuk in Yechezkel, V'ra etzem adam. I don't have the nekudas here. in the new Gemaras. We have V'ra etzem adam ubana etzloitzion. If you see the etzem, the bone of a person, ubana etzloitzion, you'll build next to him a marker. And it's not a straight out raya because it's not really an obligation to do that. In this case, this is talking about the times of Gog and Magog, because the bones that during the war, there'll be bones on the road. There, you don't really have to put a marker. You could really cover it over with dirt, because regular freestanding bones are not going to be metama ba'oil. It's not going to be metama when you walk over it. So therefore, you don't really need a marker. It's just a way of saying that there's going to be a lot of bones on the road, and therefore people are going to. So therefore, yeah, to be careful. But it doesn't. It's not a. It's only a remez. Rashi says. Amla Ravina Ravashi. Frekt Ravina to Ravashi. How could you tell me that we learned from this pasuk in Yecheskel? Hamakami the less Yecheskel before Yecheskel came. Man Omar. So how do we know it then? Omar. Man Omar. Who said it? So Frekt the Gemara. Well, says Ravashi back to Ravina, well, Tamech, according to you, that before Yecheskel said it, we don't know it. Hadam Rav Chisda also said a similar din, that a kohen that doesn't have a bris milah can't do avoid in the Beis Hamikdash. Davar zeh mitaris Moshe Rabbeinu. This is from the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu Leilo Madnu. We didn't learn this from Moshe Rabbeinu. Midibri Yecheskel ben Buzi Lamadnu. We learned from Yecheskel ben Buzi that a kohen that doesn't have a bris milah because he couldn't get one, because it happens if a kohen has two brothers that died from a bris milah. The kohen doesn't get a bris milah because we're scared he might die. So therefore, we learned this from a pasuk in Yecheskel, like it says, "Kol ben nechar," any stranger, any non-kohen, aro lev, if he's a kohen that did averis, but aro basar, or if he didn't get a bris milah because he couldn't, lo yavel mikdashi, he shouldn't come to the Beis Hamikdash. So the Gemara says, "Mekami delesi Yecheskel man Amar." So Ravashi asked back Ravina, so before Yecheskel came, this is a pasuk in Yecheskel, how do we know that? Ella must be Gemara Gemirila. It was Allah L'Meshmi Sinai. But Yecheskel Asmachta Quran. Yecheskel just came and gave us a reliance from it, gave us a way that we see it in the pasuk as well in Yecheskel. Hachanami. So here too by Gogu Magu, by the putting down a tziyum, putting down a marker. Gemara Gemirila. It's Allah L'Meshmi Sinai. Yecheskel just came and gave us a reliance from a pasuk. Ravo says a different pasuk. How do we know that on Remez that you put a marker by graves so that people carrying truma won't become tamei me'acha? From the pasuk in Mitzayra that it says tamei yikra, and a Mitzayra when a Mitzayra passerby pass a Mitzayra, he's supposed to call out tamei, I'm tamei, don't get near me, tuma karla. He calls out that he's tamei v'aymeres le'proish. He says to back off. V'cheina Rabuziel barbareda Rabuziel Rabba, and so said Rabuziel, the grandson of Rabuziel Rabba. Tuma kairula v'aymeres le'proish. He calls out that he's tamei and he says back off. You're telling me that from Mitzayra we learn. Oh, so what do we learn from there? That when something is tamei, you should remind people to keep away. So too, that's a remez that we make a marker. Is that what it's coming for by Mitzayra? We learned something else by that Mitzayra is coming to teach us something else. In a brayso it says the tami yikra. What do we learn from the pasuk that the Mitzayra says tami yikra? Sarach lo'idiyat tzar l'rabim. A Mitzayra has to tell the people about his hardships, that he's a Mitzayra. Why? The rabbim avakshim l'avrachim, so that rabbim will daven for him. So that's why he calls out, I'm tamei, keep away and daven for me. So therefore, how could you tell me that it's coming to remind us to put a marker by the grave? Imkain says v'tamei yikra. We learn both things, because it could have just said v'tamei yikra. He calls out that I'm tamei. My v'tamei. Why does he say twice tamei? Shmas mi natati. We learn both things, that you put a marker by a grave, and also you call out to people to daven for you. Abai Omar Meyacha. Abai says we learn from a different pasuk. You shouldn't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person. So therefore, when someone doesn't know that something's tamei, that there's a grave there, or that there's something tamei, and you should put a marker there to remind him, so that you won't stumble and become tamei. Rav Papa says, May hacha from here. But Omar, you say solu panu derech, pave the way, clear the path. Panu derech, clear the path, meaning from tumah. Rav Chinna says, herimu michshol. Take away the michshol miderech. What does it mean? Take away the michshol from the derech, from the path. Rav Yeshua B'Rei Rav Idi Amar Rav Yeshua B'Rei Rav Idi says a different pasuk. V'Idatlum esaderech yelchuba. Tell them V'Idatlum, you should tell them esaderech, the way yelchuba, that they should go by it. Meaning you should make sure that they go the right way. Marzutra Sam, a different pasuk. V'Zartemis Menisomu Tumasam, and you should keep them away from their tumah. Ravashi says, Ushmarti, that it says in the pasuk, watch over my mishmeres. Asu mishmeres mishmarti. The truma is called the mishmeres. He's supposed to watch over truma. So when it says Ushmarti mishmarti, it means watch over my truma. Asu mishmeres mishmarti, make a special safeguarding for my truma by making a marker. Ravina says a different pasuk, Visam derech place. If you set down the path, you will see the salvation of Hashem, meaning you set down the path. Zok Rashi, you set down the path to show people where to go. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, now the Gemara is going to expound upon that pasuk and then we'll be done. If a person evaluates his ways, he evaluates his ways and says, it's not worth it for me to do Averis. I lose so much. It's worth it for me to do mitzvahs. Then he's going to see the salvation of Hashem. Shenemer, like it says, V'sam derech. It says, set down your ways and you'll see the salvation of Hashem. Al tikri v'sam. Don't read it v'sam, set down your ways. El v'sham derech. If you evaluate your ways, Arenu b'yesh Elokim, you'll see the salvation of Hashem. Rabbi Yaneh Havalehu Talmuda. Rabbi Yaneh had a Talmud, the Kol Yuma Avimakshele b'Shabbata. I'm sorry, the Kol Yuma Avimakshele. He used to ask him questions in class, in Shir, and it would be embarrassing for the Rebbe. But b'Shabbata, when all the people, and so many people came on Shabbos, the Regila, that so many people, it was normal for a lot of people to come Lo Avimakshele. He wouldn't ask his Rebbe because he didn't want to embarrass him. Kari Oleh, so his Rebbe said, Rabbi Yaneh called on this Talmud. He said, "Oh, v'sham derech arenu b'yesha." That's someone who v'sham derech, that evaluates his ways and realizes it's not worth it. It's not worth it to embarrass me just for the question. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to finish